Hello everyone, today we are going to have the final review of 2023 International Residential Architecture Conceptual Design Competition. We congratulate all of the teams in the final review and appreciate judges Mr. Ren Kuhas, OMA founder partner, and David Jonathan, OMA managing partner architect, to review this project. 第一组还没进来吗？好，进来了，好，进来了。开始吗？ Okay, now the number of team we have is 013. The project name is Spatial Folding of Urban Patches. The team leader is Zhao Guan-Lyu. 请他打开头像。是谁？ Hello, Mr. Zhao Guan-Lyu. Can you just turn on your camera? That's okay. Hello, Miss Zhao. Can you hear me? 打开，就中文讲。赵小姐，你听得到我吧？要把喇叭打开。你要把喇叭打开 ，turn on your microphone。然后可以，它可以切换，可以分享画面。OK， 你先规则还没讲。Okay, there's some rules we have to introduce. The final review goes as 2 parts. The first one is a 15 minutes presentation, and the second one is a 5 minutes question and answer time. We will inform you twice when 3 minutes left and ending for your presentation. Then going to Q&A. Judges will ask you questions, and we will inform you twice when 1 minute left and the ending. Then we will finish the final review, and you can have your presentation and set it to full screen. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Zhao Guanlyu, an undergraduate student majoring in architect and apply for postgraduate study. This competition has made me realize the importance of exploring the future of living, and I'm going to be here to share my views on the future sustainability housing with you. I will present my project in 6 main parts. Well, let's start with the idea, sorry. I questioned the role of artificial intelligence and deep learning in architecture design. In response to the rapid expansion of city, the old economic forms of residential architecture have revealed their inability to cope with the times. At the same time, the explosion of COVID-19 has prompted us to pay more attention to the space, sustainability, and health measures in the city. The application of AI may lead to the rapid birth of new housing models. This is a new experiment, a dialogue with AI, and exploring of future models. And as a designer, I'm actively addressing the issues occurred when AI becomes involved. The following 4 issues were raised at the beginning, and I hope to address them. Is a space creative, unique to human? Can machine learn and product spatial architect with context? Can they move beyond codifiable data and topological optimism optimization into the realm of spatial quality, and designer bridge the intelligence gap when we let machines run. About the reference, can machine thinking present the original visual of AI, the Turing test introduced intelligence in a new direction. In 2019, the year and the COVID-19 was discovered, was all knowledge explored, and it began to use in productive life. Further, I was inspired by M4 and by Chilo's project on Architect AI. Chilo looks at the potential of AI generating force plan. It has shown how architectural plans carry a basic set of functional rules. It is feasible to use machine learning to explore the future of a generative design and architectural style. Well, about the site, I choose one of the largest urban village in China, Guan-Lyu community. It has a considerable population size and complex issues. In the local analysis, we can see several outstanding problems. The streets are narrow due to the high density of a resident population. The business space is messy, and there is no real signs of a public space. And the residential comfort and privacy cannot be guaranteed. In addition to the COVID-19, medical care has also become a major burden for the community. Therefore, I want to create a new model of living that integrates residential and medical functions, breaks the conventional paradigm of human living and extracting data types through AI. In differential computing, it is able to meet the needs of dwelling in the post-pandemic era. And I did a lot of experiment in this part. This is the overall process of my initial application of AI, including the selection of input image data in the deep learning process and the result output filtering. First, the choice of GAN with the style GAN 2 being a more optimism system, the parameter will tune further and the model will be trained longer. The next step was to select the input images. I choose some typical residential and medical floor plans. This is an excerpt from the process of deep learning. And the collab helped me with the whole code calculation. And the results of the first round are selected in this period. Subsequently, I refined the generative plans by linear interpolation. During this process, it passed through the encoder and performed a linear migration to obtain a latent space representation. This differential calculation offers a more groundbreaking expression of a plan. And then based on the general rational judgment, I identified 8 plans that are more in line with the pattern. I did not think that a layout obtained by AI alone is reasonable enough. So I choose a plan B to determine the result of it. Based on the functional weights, it also allows for a better separating between public and the private space, which is an important reference for 2 kinds of space. After the abstraction of spatial division, the topological calculation can be used as an important base for rational analysis. It is a premise for functional refinement and combination. the generation of 3D volumes, I had a bit difficult in generating from 2D to 3D. I think the combining logic was a tough one, and in the end, I choose the traffic space should be the pawn. This is a presentation for the individual units. Each unit is a mainly residential with a healthcare as a secondary component. The final result is presented in the form of city patches. This is a display for some separate space, divided according to the degree of privacy and openness. The medical area guarantees a certain level of insulation. Each individual structure can be given additional functions according to the location, such as traffic space, greenery, and public activity functions. The design of public areas is essential in order to provide a better living space for the residents. The division of small blocks can accommodate small commercial farms and increase richness. With multiply units inserted into the urban village, a new residential model offers a restoration of this area. Well, this is also some opportunities for design optimization. In the future, I think new housing system will take the form of silicon-based and combined and carbon-based collaborations. The house paradigm will make a big breakthrough by AI computing without relying on the same spatial form. Deep learning applied to 3D space, more possibilities will be realized. In addition, the concept of sustainability will be implemented through the new housing model. The trend towards urbanization is irreversible, and sustainable can prevent urban sprawl. Green housing reduces the environmental load, integrates with the environment, and is good for residents' health. Well, this is the end of my presentation. Thanks to the organizer and the judges for your support.
Ms. Zhao. Okay, thank you, Ms. Zhao.
Okay.
And now judges can ask questions. Thank you.
This is Rem Koolhaas. I'm a little bit surprised that after COVID, when you present a housing scheme which is incredibly intense, incredibly dense, and which doesn't kind of offer any aspect which is not highly urban or highly built and highly constructed. I can see, so that's one question. What is the relationship between this density and the atmosphere of more freedom that you would expect people to look for after COVID and after all the isolation?
Well, I think controlling the forward investment of resources is important if you want to achieve sustainability. In the production period housing, a designer can collect data on the need of the owner. For example, collecting requirements for the floor plan, the size of living room, or the number of bathroom, simulation with AI, and meeting functional requirements through virtual text will result in significant saving in resources consumption. In addition, AI can also automate city operations, use it to implement monitoring and police forecasting and so on. Well, this is my answer.
Yeah. But basically, you use the word controlling a lot. And so that is what I'm asking, you know, after all the COVID controls, it might be that kind of people just want kind of completely free, completely open, completely undefined forms of accommodation. But anyway, it's more a comment than a question. So let the other jury members talk.
I also have a question. Kind of one of the things you are exploring with is to combine a normal floor plan of a residential apartment with a medical component. And AI is generating the combination of that, and then you interfere as an architect. However, I wanted to ask you, what is the medical component exactly, and what will that add to the quality of the living space of the house, and who operates it?
I think about the two kinds of plans. The designer needed to filter the training data, especially about a medical room. Like there are some operate rooms, or the other, the person will act as a limiting factor in the computation process. And in the later period, the designer will also be needed to fix minor problems created by AI. For some example, in case of the building structure, if they are to be the mass productive, the safety functions of the construction need to be considered by people. Whenever possible, people are present as design boundaries.
Okay, but can you? I understand how you generated it, and I also understand what kind of interference you do, but I don't understand what the medical room is. Is it a quarantine room, or is it a hospital room where a patient can be treated? Is it a self-containment hospital where people can treat themselves? What is it, that component?
I think it's a self space that doctor can treat some of the residents.
Okay, so
it's
the doctor comes from outside.
Space.
The doctor comes from outside to your home to treat you at home.
I think it's treat them like at home is more reasonable.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Well, thanks for your valuable comments.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Zhao and Judge. And we have 3 minutes more. So, Mr. Zhao, do you have more items or material you want to say?
No, thank you. Thank you for your organizer and the judges again.
Okay, thank you. 换下一组。要请到离开吗？这是第二组吗？Okay, now we are going to have the second team. The number of team we have is 0 to 1. The project name is ZIP.per. The presenter is Zhong-Yu. And here's the rules. The final review goes to two parts. The first one is a 15 minutes presentation, and the second one is a 5 minutes question and answer time. We will inform you twice when 3 minutes left and the ending for your presentation. Then going to question and answer. Judges will ask you questions. We will inform you twice when 1 minute left and the ending. Then we will finish the final review. You can have your presentation and set it to full screen. Thank you. Yeah, now you can share your screen.
So now I start my present. Hello everyone, my name is Zhong-Yu and number 021, and now I will start my design briefing. Urban ZIP.per, post-COVID neighborhood hybrid social housing is my vision of future living in this rapidly changing living environment. And after the current urban lifestyle, the emergence of the epidemic and the popularity of the internet and launch of various e-commerce platforms, in such an era, people's lives are gradually limited to activities near their home and they stayed at home for a long time. And the discussion of the type of activity has also changed from co-prosperity and sharing to social distance and avoiding gathering. But I think that face-to-face communication between people is emotionally and indispensable in life. Therefore, under such a background of the times, what kind of social urban architecture needs to present is what I think about. In today's urban living space, I divide it according to the degree of privacy, the public area and the private area, and the common area in between. The common area main text is the transition between public and private. The public area include parks or community centers and traffic stations. The main social issues discussed are common prosperity and sharing, social welfare, functional systems, etc. And the private area include houses, townhouses, and apartments. And in crowded cities, apartment is the most common. The main discussion is the comfort, convenience, and privacy of living environment. And the less common area is the most interesting to me. In the city, it is main place to adjust the public and private areas. It carries the most basic transition in life, such as alley, courtyard, and arcade. Many common activities take place in the common areas. If we observe the city in this way, we will find that the old urban form is not friendly to people who stay at home for a long time. Because the common area and the public area only exist on the first floor, making high floor residents far away from the outside world in terms of space. In addition, with the continued increase of the population of urban land and continuous construction of real estate, the original urban open space is gradually filled by houses, and the urban space is overcrowded. Although urban housing continues to be built, the high housing price make it impossible for most urban groups to buy a house. That forms a contradictory phenomenon. The crowded dormitories are full of people, and the completed building cannot be sold, and the vacancy rate remains high. Urban space is unevenly distributed. So in this context, the imagination of future urban life is bound to undergo some changes. But what is the next form of urban living? And this is my first sketch concept. I imagine that if the outdoor corridor stretches to the upper floor, there will be new possibilities for urban life. My proposal is new double-layer living form, which is a new housing imagination proposed for urban high-rise residential living. The common space is extended to the upper floors through the public space, and the private residents are accessed through the internal stair of the double-story unit. The advantage of such a unit design, the one is increased flexible common areas, and second is unique and special home office life, and three is multiple control points to deal with the outbreak of the epidemic, and four, the most important thing is that residents can feel that they are not far from the outside world in their own homes. I designed 4 double-story room types corresponding to different people. The main consideration is for different groups, what kind of space function should be attached to the common space level in their self-house, and also the corresponding amounts of space. I take the column distance of 9 meters as the module moment, so that the following design is carried out. The first type is the ordinary family type, suitable for families of 3 or 4 people. Under the module, the middle floor is divided into 2 on the floor plan. As the common area of households, the function can be home office, living room, also can be a small shop, while the upper and lower floor are individual home space. And the second type is Soho type. It's a small office, home office, which is mainly designed as a personal double-story suite, suitable for ordinary couples and new home workers, such as YouTuber or streamer on TikTok. The middle floor is also designed as a personal office, and the second floor is a private residential space. There will be 4 households in one module. The third type is the co-working type, which is mainly aimed at people who live in cities for a short period of time, such as groups who can work remotely or project workers. The common area is shared space for 6 households, and the second floor is a personal suite. Under one module, there are 6 households. And the last one is dormitory type, which is mainly designed for newcomers or students in society. Compared with the above-mentioned unit, it is different in that it forms a unit with 2 modules, and the middle floor is thus divided into 3 shared rooms. The function of the shared room is determined jointly by 18 households from the upper and lower floor. For example, if most of the households are architecture students, one of the shared room may become a photocopy room or studio, and so on. And we can also use rents to divide the 4 types of room type. Groups with strong financial ability can have more private space and can choose family type and Soho type, while groups with weak economic ability can rent more room type with shared space, such as dormitory type and co-working type. And the social housing complex composed of 4 different room types will host different groups in the city and form a diverse and unique community. In addition, the social role of the social housing in the city, I think it should not only serve the residents of the social housing, but should be integrated into the original site as much as possible. Therefore, there are many main factors to consider for large-scale construction and space reservation. In the site I choose this time, I did some site analysis. The surrounding area is close to school and urban green corridor. You can see this picture. The blue one is school and the green one is the urban green corridor. And it is also the end of the commercial street and surrounded by dense residential area. The red one is commercial street. And here we can see the bigger ground. Here is it have a lot of house. So I divided their property into, in this huge site formed by these 3 blocks, I divide their properties into commercial, community, and student from north to south. The public floor on the first floor is a public facility serving different groups of people. The food center and commercial plaza is arranged on the upper block, which becomes the end of the commercial street. In the middle block, there are kindergartens and elderly center. Due to the high building density near the outline of the middle street, the park is choosing to loosen it, which further provides a resting place for surrounding residents. And the low blocks is close to the university. So the student activity center is configured to provide a place for students to hold events. Different groups of people are carried in this social housing complex. And this session shows the urban ZIP.per main concept. Extend the street to the upper floor with public space. The public space can be not only an accommodation center, but also a public parking lot. We can imagine some scenarios. Telecommuters use Google Meet for meeting at home. Families take their children to food center for meals, and students hold markets activity in park. When the nearby residents and social housing residents are integrated into this social housing, the urban ZIP.per is officially completed. So now we can double click on ZIP. Here are some images of the urban ZIP.per. The floor boundaries are blurred. People can easily gather in the common space on each floor. This picture is residential plaza on the 3rd floor, and the adjacent co-working type operates a cafe with seats extending outside.
3 minutes left. Thank you.
And then the square on the 1st floor is a common space for parks. Kindergartens, and elderly center. We can see the nearby residents and social housing residents are integrated into this space. And the street-facing space extending to the 3rd floor allows residents who have lived at home for a long time to feel the activities of outside world. Okay, so this is my urban ZIP.per design. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Mr. Pan, and judges can ask questions. Thank you.
To what extent do you think this is a kind of radical new proposal? And to what extent are you thinking of modifying existing architecture or improving existing architecture in smaller steps? Because you can read your project in both ways.
Mm-hmm. Because in the urban cities, here it have a lot of population, so every unit is so small, but is for 1 people or more than 2 people, and only family time is for the family can have the 3 and 4 people in the unit. But in crowded cities, I think people will, and the space is very small, so I just design a very small unit in this urban ZIP-per.
I have a question related to the common space. You raise that there are 3 types of spaces: public space, private space, and common space. You clearly see that you bring the public space up. Which role does the common space play in your urban ZIP-per? And do you also distribute that differently than now happens in the city?
The common, in my urban ZIP-per, the common area is the outdoor corridor in the unit. And difference is because we can see now cities is the single house and also have the very high-rise residential apartment, but people just can leave their floor, but cannot go to outside to do some activity. So I just let the corridor come to the upper floor, and people, if epidemic is outbreak, some people also can go to the common area in the corridor, outdoor corridor in maybe the 6th floor or yes. So it's the different, inside now we know the city's building.
Okay, but so it's circulation space. The common space is more or less circulation space.
Yes.
Okay.
Because when I observe the cities, the circulation is like this. Some people who are elderly can take the chair to the alley to communication, but it also have the distance to how to say, if epidemic is outbreak, this distance is okay.
Okay, clear. Why did you call your proposal the urban ZIP-per?
Oh, because I think in these communities, in urban have a lot public facility, but I want make it can be a zip file, and all the facility can in this public floor, and surrounding community can also use this public facility and make like a zip file everyone can go to, and not only the social housing residents. And ZIP-per is because the common space is like a ZIP-per and get into the high floor.
Okay, clear. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pan and judges. And you have about 2 minutes left. Do you want to supplement more materials for your project?
No.
No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
我们可以讲话吗？OK。Hello。
Hello。是要确认一下身份吗？
是的，你们是廖仲云跟廖仲尧吗？
肖仲云跟廖仲尧，要改是不是要改一下？
肖仲云跟廖仲尧。
对，肖仲云在工作，所以没办法。
Okay. Okay, now we have the number of team is 022. The project name is Urban Instability, Participatory Urbanism. The team members are Hsiao Zhong-Yun and Liao Zhong-Yao, and the presenter is Mr. Liao. Here's the rules. The final review goes into two parts. The first one is a 15 minutes presentation, and the second one is a 5 minutes question and answer time. We will inform you twice when 3 minutes left and the ending for your presentation. Then going to Q&A, judges will ask you questions. We will inform you twice when 1 minute left and the ending. Then we will finish the final review. Now you can have your presentation and set it to full screen. Thank you.
All right. Hi, this is Ryan. This is Liao. We're group 22, and we're going to talk about urban instability and participatory urbanism. So, what is urban instability here? What is urban instability here? So, urban instability is described as a problem when space in the city being overoccupied by human and that paralyzes infrastructures. A solution proposed here is to place in rigid infrastructures with flexible and detachable components regarding to human-involved activities. So we analyzed different instabilities in Taipei City and selected Zhongshan District as a demonstration of the instability. Sorry, can you see the screen or?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, so I think the screen is PowerPoint now or not?
It's perfect.
Oh, it's perfect. Got it. All right. Yeah, I just heard some sound and started talking about it's not shown. All right. How do we define the instability? Why Zhongshan District here? So Zhongshan District is a demonstration of urban instability. The blast of human flow in the weekends caused by migrant workers greatly paralyzes the city. And King Market here is an old area that is recommended by the government for urban regeneration. So there are different types of community, different groups of people, but they're trying to join together. And we're trying to, form this community together. So how do we define the instability? How do we provide a solution? To solve the problem, we use the Google Map API to sort out the human activity pattern, so we can know like what time to have what kind of activities. And we're trying to use that pattern to provide a user-friendly space utilization. And we started to think of a joint program that can absorb or reduce the impact of this kind of human blast. So you can see there's a huge space utilization here in the day, but not in the night, not during the night. So we're trying to, design a joint program for different activities, and participatory urbanism is, this program is designed to provide the utmost use in the space utilization. So how do we quantize instability? There's three environmental factors here. It's light, sound level, and the isobase value. Isobase value is the human visual value. It's like a feeling value, so you can feel the how people feel the space, if it's crowded or not. Yeah, that's the feeling factors. And of course, in the end, there's a Google Map API, so we can know which time has certain human activities there. And how do we make this work? So we're trying to bring different activities together. We use activity compatibility analysis So with the data from those three environmental factors, we can get a matrix of different activity compatible analysis. I mean, it will start to make a matrix, and we will try to see if that activity is compatible with another. And we select, as we've seen in the last PowerPoint, we select actually 18 typology or 18 activity to do the analysis. And with that, we get our program from those activities and a high dense community with flexibility. So there's a stable program and in between program and unstable program. In the stable program, there's a private apartment, hotel, office, but it can work together because apartment is just different. It has the same condition, it has the same factors. It's just different time you use space differently. And in the in-between program, you can switch between supermarket and library because they use the same furniture, they share the same condition. It just depends on time, depends on the different activities, but it works. And in the unstable program, there's a public church, public nightclub. I mean, they use the same condition. It needs to be like soundproof, sound absorbed, but it's just different time. There's different activity in the space. So it gives, we gave the space a huge flexibility. So how do we switch between program? As you can see, we use a facility here. There's a crane, and we can use that to hang the furniture up and switch between activities to activities. And there's a escalator on the left. It acts as a conveyor for the furniture, and there are eight elevators that act as a conveyor also to sheet different furniture. So you can switch between different scenario, and we gave the flexibility to the space, and the space gave human possibilities of the possibilities to use them. So how do we do this kind of like participatory urbanism? Actually, you can use your phone to reserve the space for a certain activity on your app, and you just select time and define the furnitures and components that is required for your activities, and you can just receive your furniture and components at the reserved space. So we just use this kind of like app method to bring the flexibility to the space, and it will just calculate by itself. It's a human user interface. So here's a day section, here's a night section. In the day section, you can see there's a like library here, but it's going to be a supermarket, and it will switch from the office to private like apartment and different activities. So we're actually building a community here, and you might notice, but I will mention it later, there's a swimming pool here, or there's a pool here, and there's a ventilation tower here, or there are 4 ventilation towers there, and 8 elevator here. So the ventilation tower can suck the air from the intake from the park and goes to the swimming pool and goes on the top of the building. So it's actually a cooling down system that can bring the a ventilation to the buildings. And this 8 elevator also act as a duct for the ventilation. So you can switch, you can see the difference between day and night. Yeah, and what is our construction strategy? Because during the construction, the market still needs to function. So we're thinking that, well, you can use during the construction, you can use the park nearby as a temporary market, and vendor can be on the site still doing their business. And after the market, the vendor will actually move inside the building, move to the building. So the vendor stand is no longer needed. That, I mean, the number is not that much anymore. So it can be attached to the building. It will actually be the facade of that building as a balcony here. So you can see here's our structure. Here's a vendor truss, and here's a hanging structure which hangs the different stories. And here's how we design the detail of our balconies and vendor stands. So although you've seen a lot of complicated drawings, but our concept is simple. So imagine you're in a library, you're trying to read, but you see a lot of people sleeping there. That's how we usually act in our studios. So the only difference is the condition, or you can say it's the light. So we're trying to bring the freedom to the space, just, switching between different conditions. And we can actually give the space a lot of flexibilities, because the people is going to act differently in that space. People is going to use that space differently. And we brought the utmost of that building back here. I just mentioned that there's an apartment in the night, but it can be an office in the day. So yeah, the concept is pretty simple. Community is not a place, it's a collective concept. And we're trying to make the home decomposable and make it participatory and compatible. So it will not be unapproachable housing anymore. It will be we gave the space freedom. So this is our solution of the urban instability here. Thank you.
I have a question. Because I'm very sympathetic to many of your intentions, but at the same time, I'm a little bit kind of surprised that this is presented as architecture. And maybe your last sentence is interesting because you say we give people freedom. Yeah. And I would say that in the best case, people take freedom. And freedom is not kind of something that is necessarily given to them, but it's something that the inhabitant is stimulated to take for himself or to discover for himself. And I think that you have in your proposition so incredible amount of details, an incredible amount of potentials, an incredible amount of stimulation, an incredible amount of little devices to stimulate people to do something, that I'm worried that the actual occupants would be overwhelmed by the amount of freedom you give them, and therefore actually not be stimulated to take freedom.
Yeah, well, So that's why we're trying to use an app, because there's still going to be overwhelming activity that happens there. So we're trying to use this app to see if the building can absorb that kind of like urban instability. But yeah, we use app to trying to control that. But
it's also not a kind of form of freedom. An app is another kind of engagement.
Got it. Yeah. Well, this is an interesting question, because we don't really want to control how humans use that space. We think that we gave them freedom and they have the freedom to use that space. Only we have to do is to give them the furniture, and we don't really care what they're going to use that space, because we see the human blast or the human activities as a phenomenon. And we're not going to say that phenomenon is right or wrong. Well, at least they don't break the building or furniture. But yeah, we don't really judge if the activity is right or wrong, or it's, you know, they can use the space as they want. That's our it's going to be crazy, but that's our thought.
Did you think of a backup system when the app is out or when the cranes don't operate?
Well, where's the well, if the crane are down, we're thinking of, because it's in different drawings and I don't think it's detail. So we try to provide the furniture with wheel. So if the system is down, you can still use the wheel to try to push the furniture to side, and there's 8 elevator there. So in each floor, where's the plan? Yeah, there are 8 elevator here. It's a ground plan, but you get an idea.
Are you not afraid that in a very short period of time, people start using it in a different way than you intended it, and therefore it becomes chaos?
Yeah, that's well, we know that it's going to be crazy, but I think that's the solution we're going to provide for Zhongshan district, because it's kind of crazy in that district, because it's really, the infrastructure is really overwhelming. So we're just trying to provide a better solution, but we can't really solve if people really bring the space, use the space crazy. And so we just design as many elevator or as many crane as we can, and trying to see if we can solve this problem, because we haven't really calculated the circulation of human flow. So we don't really know if that's going to be overwhelming after the building is being built, and it's going to be phenomenal. So it's kind of hard to forecast that for us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Liao and judges. And Mr. Liao, you have 2 minutes more. So do you have any more materials to supplement for your project?
No, I think that's quite comprehensive. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Big fan of Brand, and shout out to my teammate, Yvette. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Good luck. Okay, now we are going to have the 4th team. The number is 110. The project designer is Giacomo Caputo, but he is unable to have the presentation in person. We will have a video instead.
Hi, my name is Giacomo, and I took part to the competition with the project FFPH for filtering pieces housing. The pandemic has changed the way we live in our cities and in our homes. If we compare images of any of our city before, during, and after the COVID, we understand the effects produced by the pandemic on the way we live in the urban space. This is, for example, a normally busy street in the city center of Frankfurt am Main in Germany. Before the pandemic, it was almost impossible to see it without any people. During the COVID, it looked like this. After a lockdown period, people, as in every part of the world, people started working remotely, wearing masks and avoiding social interaction in crowded places. Now we are currently in a transitional phase in which periods of high infections alternate with more quiet periods. We must learn, in other words, to live together with the virus. How did our cities work during these different periods? The current urban scheme is organized according to a horizontal stratification. The lower floors, hosting commercial activities and urban services, relate directly to the city. The upper floors, on the other hand, are mainly for private functions, as residence, offices, and so on, and they have no relationship with the city except through balconies or windows. During the pandemic, such a system stopped working. Buildings get isolated and the cities all around the world emptied. This created in people a strong sense of insecurity and loneliness. Unfortunately, our cities have not been adaptable enough to respond to the new needs of the people. But how can our buildings work after the COVID period? I started with this question for the project. What if our building functioned in the same way as a face mask? An FFP2 mask, face mask, for example, is made of several layers. These layers filter the air, preventing the virus from passing through of it. This allowed us to carry out normal daily activities, reducing the infection risks. The current model is characterized by a sharp boundary, clearly separating public space from private space. In such a similar scheme, public areas have a high level of social interaction, but also a high risk of infections for people. On the other hand, the private areas inside the building are more safe and are more isolated also. Starting from the typical urban block, the project reinvents the relationship between city and domestic environment. The first step is to remove the external facades. 4 filters then, with different functions and characteristics, will be placed inside this existing structure of the building. The first filter is a kind of vertical square. The traditional 2-dimensional public space is developed in height, and the city ideally climbs up the facade. This part of the building works as an ideal extension of the public space and is therefore accessible to everyone. The second filter hosts a mix of collective functions. In other words, functions that are mainly placed on the lower floors of the building now will be reorganized in the project vertically and can be used by citizens and tenants at the same time. The third filter marks the boundary between shared spaces and domestic environment. It hosts private equipments that can be also shared with the neighborhoods. The fourth filter represents the safest but also the most isolated place within the building. It will be composed by a sequence of bedroom or studio and loggias opened toward the city. So it will be a more private space, or the space of the dwelling itself. So existing buildings become more permeable structures in which the boundaries between public and private space dematerialize and become less defined. Just like a face mask, our buildings will be composed of different layers, filters. These filters will be able to regulate the people's flow from outside, from the city. The goal is to create a resilient system in which the inhabitants could be free to define their own personal ratio between infection risks and level of social interaction, according to the needs or the possibilities of the moment. The space between the different filters will be shared spaces, each one with its own function. Between the first and the second filter, for example, there will be a connecting area where inhabitants can meet people coming from outside from the city who want to use the collective services provided in the second filter. So the cinema, the theater, and so on. The space between the second and the third filter will be accessible to visitors and urban workers, such as police, deliveries, and so on. This area can be shared between neighborhoods for socializing activities. Finally, the space between the third and the fourth filter will be the space of the dwelling and will be shared between housemates and occasional visitors that can eventually come to visit the housemates. Frankfurt am Main is the city where I experienced COVID-19. So I tried to figure out how the project could fit within its urban structure. In particular, I decided for Konstablerwache. It's a central part of the city. It's in the city center and is composed by a square surrounded by mainly tertiary building and shops. This area hosts a weekly market and also many other events during the year. So it's a very active, very important socializing space within the city. In particular, the project focuses on the redevelopment of the main building, the tallest one, currently used as a bank offices. The project could also extend eventually to the other buildings around the square. The vertical square, for example, the first filter, could be also realized on the other building, multiplying the spaces for socializing and creating a very interesting and attractive spatial envelope space. A system of vertical connections, ramps, stairs, and elevators will all allow anyone to access to the outdoor terraces, to the urban vegetable gardens, to the viewpoint, or to all the functions distributed within this filter. The collective services are reorganized vertically in the second filters, as we already said, and this filter will appear as a collage of different functions. On the lower floors will be placed, for example, spaces dedicated to kilometer zero markets. Here will be sold products from vegetable gardens from the vegetable gardens in the first filter. The upper floors will be provided with spaces for co-working, remote learning, and entertainment spaces such as cinema or theaters and so on, gym and mini apartments for rent for people coming from outside from the city. All these functions will be shared with the city and will give the building a good level of self-sufficiency in order to avoid the complete isolation even during the periods of greatest risk of infection. As a transitional element between shared space and home environment, the third filter is conceived as a kind of exterior facade, in which some of the typical exterior facade of Frankfurt's buildings are brought together into a unified system. The space between the second and the third filter could be used as a sort of unique living or dining room, enforcing the sense of neighborhoods between the inhabitants. Everyone, in other words, will be free to decide whether to share their own private facilities, such as kitchen or dining areas, ideally extending the domestic space to the entire city. If the third filter is designed as an exterior urban facade, the fourth filter will be the interior wall, the partitions, and will have a more domestic character. Each apartment will have its own style according to the taste and the needs of the inhabitants. The flexibility of this system will also make it possible to create apartments of different sizes, simply by moving the interior partition from a place to another. Finally, I would like to apologize with the jury and the organizers of the competition. It would have been very important for me to discuss my project with the members of the jury, but unfortunately, I had to give up this great opportunity. I just moved from Frankfurt to Zurich a few days ago, and today is my first day in the new office for a new job. Anyway, I hope I have explained my project as clearly as possible, and I will of course be happy and available to answer any question. Thank you for your attention.
So we don't ask any questions, I assume. Yeah?
We don't have the question and answer time right now. And so we now have a short break until 5:30 p.m. Taiwan Standard Time and the 10:50 a.m. Netherlands time. So we have a short break right now, 10 minutes. Thank you.
David, kan ik even bellen?
Ja, tuurlijk. Hè.
So if there's any teams participating in the final review, you can just wait in the waiting room and we will start the second stage of the final review earlier. Then going to Q&A, judges will ask you questions. We'll inform you when 1 minute left and the ending again. Then we finish the final review. Now you can have your presentation and set it to full screen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you see my presentation?
Yes, we do, but not in full screen mode yet. Can you put it on full screen?
Yeah,
I
thank you.
I put it on a full screen.
Now we did. Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Firstly, I need to say that I'm glad to be here and become a part of the story of this competition. And now I present my home names, Polar Staroshka, for a multifunctional, sustainable, and healthy home. Firstly, I want to say in prologue, there are many places in Russia where traces of ancient man's life have been found. There are stone pillars and wooden idols, the purpose of which is not defined. Then I find myself in such places. I often try to imagine that happened here several thousands years ago. Man has been exploring the wild nature since ancient times, trying to adapt it for himself, to find his private place in it, says artist Fyodor Tolkov. I need to say that does Staroshka in the naming of my project mean. Polar is the place where I created my project, and Staroshka is a Russian transcription of the word Staroshka, that means house in a forest or watchman's house. The object of design is located in the city of Kola, the northern city of Russia, on a former industrial territory. There, a rich cultural and historical heritage has been influenced by a unique northern climate. It's the place where Russian wooden architecture originated, and here you can see some viewports of this city. There is a big amount of forests, some churches, and houses like boxes to serve the winter. The prototype of the design and project is the Tower of Babel. It is a symbol of all times and allows you to create a more stable environment inside a residential building, subject to social, economic, sustainability, health, and physiological aspects, and maybe not just at home but in the whole world. Thanks to the shaping and internal microclimate, the root of all troubles is misunderstanding and separation of people, and the initial idea of the project is that only mutual understanding can make people strong and united. Here you can see a scheme of the origin of wooden architecture in the whole world, like some examples of wooden architecture from Japan, Faroe Islands, Norway, and Russia. The starting point of the speculation is a fortress. It was erected in the 17th century in the city of Kola. The classical fortress consisted of towers with round or square section connected by fortress wall with loopholes. The core of the Kola fortress was wooden, the Resurrection Cathedral, and within it walls, the fortress protected and united people. It was burned down in the middle of centuries ago. I made some analysis, and because of this area is in the far north, it was extremely important to preserve and increase the daylight hours. They are reduced to 2.5 past an hour. The climate is polar, extremely cold, and always a whole year you have a winter. The city is surrounded by large forests near Kola River. The functional zoning of the city is quite diverse. The territory has the potential for development, and the former industrial area was chosen as the place of design. You can see here this purple territory. It is the territory for creation projects. Currently, the problem of industrial territories in the urban area is relevant not only in Russia, but also around the world. It arose due to the fact that then the city was formed, all production facilities were located on the outskirts, but the further growth of the city, enterprises found themselves inside the development. This serves as an obstacle to the connection of the central part of the city. This is periphery, created an additional burden on the street and road network, an unfavorable ecological situation in the city, and as a result did not allow the city to develop properly. Those large areas are empty, and restrictions imposed on free territories are stopping the development of the city in this direction. Here you can see the central part of the Kola city, and it is a cut with a fortress in the historical center, and this is a location of the project. The residential group forms a cell with the vertical forms included in the design of houses and landscape. The shape of the house is a cut of triangles so that more apartments receive the necessary amount of sunlight for living and growing plants. In the atrium, here's a pleasant-looking winter garden. The ground floor is intended for commercial premises and public spaces. It was important for me to make a place for living at the edge of geography, thus to make an oasis in the snowy desert with special microclimate. This inclusion of nature by means of using functional blocks, as you can see here, inside the design project house will contribute to creating a special environment to achieve harmony, personal growth, and communication between people despite the harsh climate or the instability of human relations in the world. The configuration of the apartments adds to additional green spaces. This is an excellent adaptation to quarantine and isolation. The tenant will have not only 4 walls in front of his eyes, but greenery, which is a better option than bare walls to visually warm and soften space and creates the needed thermal performance. On the 6-story houses, there are 2 levels apartments with a beautiful view of the city embankment. The result is a comfortable home, well suited to preserve comfortable private, common, and public one. In the core of the home is an atrium with winter garden. This is not a rigorous scientific study, but a draft project, the purpose of which is to arouse interest in the city and home could be like, and to what solutions from the past can be updated today. Here you can see the facets and one cut. And here you can see the perspective view. To fill the space better, I have made some certain maquettes. First one from paper and cardboard, and second one to fill the shape was from gypsum. It was certain maquettes. As a result, it turned out to make an interesting game of spaces inside the building, and the shell, the outer shell of the building at first view came out simple, but thanks to the game with light openings to windows, it was possible to create a game of light and shadow from inside to outside. The peculiar design is of the outer shell creates some polar lighting coming from inside the house, will serving the function of a lighthouse to help its residents, tenants to find their way home. As the result of this project, I realized that architecture is the most complete embodiment of human's life, that its social context is political and culture, and material context is the landscape and climate, and that cities are its highest manifestation. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question, I'm ready to answer them.
Well, thank you, Alisa, and judges can ask questions. Thank you.
Is this the building you propose kind of unusually large for that kind of urban environment, or is it almost typical?
I thought that it will be now it is a unique house, but for some polar cities it will be good typical houses for future lives to because they always want to see a greenery, not only cold weather, and I think it's a good way to prototype this house to some polar cities, to another cities.
Thank you.
What is an interesting idea, obviously, is to concentrate in a polar city so that you can really benefit from each other being close, but also create the greenery. One of the questions I have is, why didn't you extend the program to a more multifunctional idea, that it would become a built community, more or less?
I think it's a good idea to use some techniques to improve this project in the future. It was the first, this project was created by first idea, and I don't have enough time to make this project more suitable for IE searches or something else. I think I can continue the searching of some functional ideas in the future.
Do you yourself come from an area you're trying to build for, or not?
Sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
Do you come yourself from a polar area, or do you live somewhere else in Russia?
No, I live in near Ural Mountains, and we don't have this such cold there. But it was interesting for me to feel how people in the polar cities could how they live and how we could live, what I can do to improve their life here there. And it was important for me to include maybe some vertical farms to their cities to make a big amount to get them a chance to grow plants, to communicate with each other.
Okay. Have you been to a polar city before?
What? Sorry?
Have you been to a polar city before?
No, but I'm planning to visit this city, Kola, on the next months.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions. Good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Alisa and judges. Yeah, actually, you have more 7 minutes. So, do you have any more material to supplement for your project?
No, I think it's all. Thank you for your questions.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. 先走吧。OK，请问张子慧在线上吗？张子慧。
没有啊，如果提到是要可以登录的，就会有。对，
所以我跟他们
就刚才说我们因为提前开，我们那个进度有点超前。
Sorry, because the process is go faster, so we haven't seen the next team showing online. So we need to check the team right now.
No problem.
Thank you. Yes.
因为我们提前10分钟，因为我们提前10分钟，所以在为
有我刚才有讲了，
先把它移出去。哎，等一下。先把它移出。理解。
17不是142，
再讲一下，我张子辉有听到很上线，对。
请问张子慧在线上吗？张子慧。请问张子慧在线上吗？可以的话，请登录等候室。
是165号可以登录。
编号第165号的组别也可以登录等候室。如果您在线上的话，还是中文版。
你先问咱们，你先问咱。
OK。The team number 142. If you have been online, please just log in waiting room and wait.
手机连接。来到打包的手机8960。电话，来拨打手机去看一下。国际电话的000，然后国码001，国码86码。然后00，然后86，是多少人？哦，一张纸会其实是它前面有一，然后它手机有靠背，手机龙膜，70，对啊，一样。189。不是，它是，不是它06886 另外不是0086，
86是手机，你下面那个是886，
886是我们的国码吧？是886，它是86886，然后对这样00886 1896，不对，不行，00886啊，896 0688 166。
那个录音带你要不要写？
啊，不是已经放过了。
刚刚那个德国那个是吧？
对啊，
不觉得是
他录很好。
009
的呀，我手机是对009，
对，重来，你打002，然后再
那个都是这个打好
002，然后对方国码886是不是？大陆是86，
都是886。哎，886啊，或者86，你说
002 86 0980 684，
没有，还是公号，有这种损失，我还去等他4分钟啊。他会不会112，要越提前开始，那么我等下就要移他的档案。等一下哦。Hello， 喂，Hello， 3位，对。Hsiao都是86啊，他没有，你就跟他说，因为我们6点准时开始，然后如果他事先有提供简报档，如果没有，我们就会播放简报档，你懂我意思吗？
我想现在我要讲的，
你就说你说他的时间是6点开始，那如果说他还是没有到达，因为他提前已经有提供简报档，我们就会先播放他的简报档。
我现在是跟评审讲，
对，你就直接讲话就好了。
现在我开了吗？
对，也开了。
学校。Okay, the time for the next team is expected to 6 a.m. So, so if Mr. Zhang doesn't show online, we will just run his PowerPoint instead first.
再个2分钟，2 minutes， 就2分钟都会开始。OK。他们有点上线啊，改过，然后时间是对的。
1分钟吗？
对。
So we'll have the PowerPoints 1 minute later if we still can't contact her.
还是没有来。 我还没上，那有上线吗？
没有，还是7个。
嗯哼 ，OK， 那就给我开1分钟。OK， 那就播放吧。你好，别播了。
So now we have the PowerPoint for Mr. Zhang's presentation.
所以他没来形容准不过他的。
Maybe a point of order: if the presenter is not there, should we still consider the project? Because it is very unlogic for us to look at the PowerPoint ourselves and judge them.
I see. I'll check the host. 他说现在 All right, Mr. David. Can we just wait a few minutes for the Mr. Zhang?
他的时间是6点到6点40。
Because time for her is 6 p.m. to 6:20 p.m. Taiwan time.
Yeah, so that is now, right? But sure, good to wait 2 minutes or so. But I think we should not look at a PowerPoint without a presentation. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Thank you.
你说 OK， 你就说那你就叫下一组165号，如果是听到线上可以准时呈现。
Okay, right now for the team 165, the next team, if you're online, please just go to the waiting room.
All right. 你就打，然后你是看国吗？
先打002，然后再打86。
嗯哼，
对，然后再打后面的号。
然后呢？86。现在打什么？1717389127279。好，再讲。你讲话声音，我到底有没有对？
还在接通吗
？maybe 10 minute break， 然后你再等到大概他们是6点20分的时候，会结束。那就做回复，我靠背。23、24后面。 就开材料给我们就它里面来了，那我们就对，那我就说，那我们就现在就休息，然后20分的时候再回来再继续进行。喂，先跟对。
Sorry, judges, we still can't contact Mr. Zhang, so can we just have a short break until 11:20 a.m. your time, Netherlands time? Is it okay?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay, thank you very much. 就录到10。142
OK， 要准他入吗 ？OK， 问一下就说，我 charge。
Hello, Mr. David and Rand, and we just checked the Mr. Zhang, the next team. She has shown online, so we can start now.
他就15分钟，你刚才说他 only 15， 只有15分钟。
So can we start now for the next team?
Sure.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Make it shorter then. Huh?
Yes, I will tell her.
有点张子慧，你有听到吗？你的那个声音打开。
张子慧，你有听到吗？请把声音打开。
我刚刚说你只有15分钟。
Miss Chang, can you hear me? Please turn on your audio.
正在加入。OK， 你跟他讲，要开头像，然后。
Okay, Miss Zhang, can you just turn on your video? Sorry, your camera.
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Could you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Miss Zhang, can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay, because the time issue, you only have 15 minutes for your presentation. Sorry, you only have 12 minutes for your presentation.
Okay. Can I share my screen?
Yes, we'll set the co-host.
Okay,
yes,
I will go on.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. And dear sir, thank you for offering me this opportunity to present my design to you. It's a great honor to me, and I'm very much appreciate because of the time problem, I will strongly to talk with my design. And first, I want to say the planning of the plan. With the outbreak of the COVID-19, which caused severe impacts on the world, people have
is it
forced
just on
to
my
stay
side,
at
or
home
is the connection
and
very bad?
Constrained for
from moving outside. This strangulation has impacted human. Therefore, I wonder whether
Miss Zhang, and你的网络好像不是很稳定，是吗？我们听不太清楚你讲的话。
是这样，因为我可能是在境外，所以就是不是很稳定。但是可以听清楚吗？现在可以吗？
就是断断续续，那我继续，就是他继续。OK， 那也继续，谢谢。
好。Sorry, I'm so sorry. And therefore, I wonder whether it's possible to rearrange the layout of a traditional building plan. A more open plan will be laid out horizontally and vertically, so that the inhabitant living inside of the building can communicate verbally and visually without the barrier of the words. And I only talk about my design. As the issue of urban environment is concerned, to avoid in fact the variance, the chance of communication between people are greatly reduced. As the issue of housing is concerned, the chances that people are constrained from moving and forced to stay at home are high. And utilization rate of living space and community space has greatly increased. How to maximize interaction between people in small-scale activities, even without leaving home, becomes an issue. This is my case study. And finally, I set the value of the building as a cylinder, making it converging internally and diverging externally. And I would like to explain my design concept in three aspects, which are room to room, unit to unit, and block to block. I will transform the design of the space with these three aspects to maximize and interaction between people spatially. In addition, the idea of green building in place. With this, hopefully, people trapped at homes can be safe physically and mentally. Firstly, is the issue of room to room. In the design, I use the structure module. In this space, each room is shaped as a fun-shaped plan to be in the structure frame. Also, the circulation is planned spirally. This is the green building of my building, and the interior space of the building, an open plan, and no partition or set up as much as possible to obtain the maximum of and ventilation. The whole building corresponds to the nature environment with a circular plan and agile. The maximum lighting and ventilation in the house is up by its inner outer peripheral area adjacent to the window, which is shown in the form of grid and covered with glass curtains.
Sorry,
This is the plans of the building.
Sorry, Mr. Zhang.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Hello.
You only have less than 5 minutes, so it's a question of time.
Excuse me, I only see one slide.
Okay.
I only see the first slide. Is that the same?
Okay.
That's the same for me too. I haven't seen anything, and also the connection in sound is very bad.
So there's basically okay.
Hello. Excuse me.
你要3分钟。他现在问答是这样，就是 Q 现在。
Yes.
Could you hear me?
Yes. Now is the question and answer time.
Okay.
You have to 3分钟。
Sorry, I haven't been able to ask any questions.
Could you say the question again? I don't hear clear.
I was saying I didn't have any questions because I didn't see any image. I just have the brochure.
Same counts for me. I haven't as I said, the connection was very bad. I didn't hear or see much.
Miss Zhang.
So I think this is an issue for the organizers, how to deal with this.
对，张小姐，因为你的网络不是很稳定，所以你的影片跟声音，就是评审他都没有办法仔细的看到跟听到这样子。
对，你要不要辩解？
所以你有什么就是想要跟评审们补充的吗？Hello, Miss Zhang, can you hear me?
Hello, could you hear me?
I can't help you.
We cannot hear you clearly. And the judges also as well.
Could you please say the question again? I didn't hear clear.
Can we suggest as a jury to move to the next candidate? Because in a way this needs kind of special treatment. This doesn't work.
I see, Mr. Zhang. Guess your network is very unstable, so the judges can't see the PowerPoint or hear you clearly. 那我们结束吗？ We just stop your presentation right now. Anything you want to say to the judges? Okay, now we just stop your presentation and goodbye. Thank you.
P140是靠北，我搞错人了。
对不对？165。
Okay,
Okay, now we're going to the next team.
Okay.
Sorry. 你继续讲规则没先生。
Okay, the number of team we have now is 165. The project name is Viola Filter. The team members are Yang Jun and Liao Lin Tao.
Yeah, we are here.
Yes, here's the rules. The final review goes into two parts. The first one is a 15-minute presentation, and the second one is a 5 minutes question and answer time. You will be informed by me when 3 minutes left and the ending for your presentation. Then going to Q&A. Judges will ask you questions. We will inform you when 1 minute left and the ending time again. So you now can have your presentation and set it to the full screen. Thank you.
Okay.
我们能分享屏幕吗？
可以。
Yes, you can share your
哦，
screen.
杨欣，你先分享下屏幕。
Okay.
OK。
请用到全屏。
Okay.
Hello
everyone. We are recording.
Wait.
Can you hear me?
他说可能会等个3分钟，
Okay.
是吧？
You can start now.
We can. Okay.
Hello everyone. We are reporting from group 165. This presentation is divided into 3 parts. First of all, I will report the overall design concepts of the building, and my teammates will introduce how ideas are embodied in the generation of architecture. Finally, we made a video for these judges to further understand our design. The main idea of our design is elevator filter. In the years between the outbreak and the normalization of the epidemic, it is difficult for people to interact with each other as freely and carefree as in the past. There seems to be a thick wall between people to people. There are also more invisible rules in communication with people, such as masks have become a daily necessity, and the distance of 1.5 meters have become the shortest distance. How to create a comfortable, reassuring, and lively residence under the condition of ensuring safety has become the focus of this design. Next, in this study, we observed that the lung organs in the human body play a significant role in filtering harmful substances away from vessels. Harmful substance in the air through the respiratory tract to complete this first layer of screening into lungs. It is then filtered by the lungs a second time and sends out harmful substance to create a safe environment in the body. In combination with this principle, we proposed to create a building that acts like a filter. After sifting through layers, the outdoor space on one side of the building creates a safe environment for communication. This treatment method ensures communication and provides a safe and comfortable environment for residents. We divided the buildings into heavy population zone, low population zone, light population zone, and safe population zone. The elevator is the first line of the defense, carrying people from all directions into the building. After the elevator, you enter a series of pipes leading to the home and through the pipes into the respective home. Layers of filtration provide the safest indoor or outdoor communication space throughout the house. The whole building is like an elevator filters through the layers of sun, blocking out unsafe minutes, creating a beautiful platform for everyone to communicate happily under the epidemic. Okay, finally, according to the different needs of different people, we divided the whole space into places suitable for different people. According to different people's needs,
different communication and interaction circles are established to improve the use experience of residents. This design will make our design more attractive. Next, my teammates will continue to explain to you.
Okay. Let me explain the second part, which is how the concept of air filter is realized in the architecture. After we developed such a concept, we found this location in Xi'an City, Shanxi Province, China, to make our plan come true. Okay, the next page. Okay, the next page. First of all, this picture tells us that in the face of the pressure from the outside world, that the virus still infects us again. We first generated such a code tube. We hope that the first step for the outside people to enter the building is to enter the code tube, and then filter slowly through it, finally enter the home, of course. There may be some barriers in this code barrier. Okay, the next page. This picture shows the second level of the air filter. Through the first screening of the cool cylinder, people enter the high-speed elevator, where they can quickly reach the floor, where they can live. The elevator is designed around both sides of the cool cylinder, forming a series of bundles, which are cold but very useful. Okay, the next page. This is the most important link. In this link, we implement the air filter in the concept into the building. After people arrive at the floor, they leave inform the inside of the elevator. They enter the air duct. After the layer by layer screening of the air filter, the outside on the other side of the building gradually becomes a safe area. Okay, the next page. Okay, not only that, we have reached our living space after screening by the LAN filter. Here, according to the different needs of different groups of people, we divide the entire living unit into living models suitable for different groups of people, such as pet lovers, sports lovers, the elderly, and the families with children. Okay, next. Okay, finally, we have added a board activity, platform, and dense green space to enable people with different attributes to carry out activities here and establish different communication and interaction circles between them to improve the use experience of residents. Okay, the next. Here is the building animation. We can see the dynamic generation processes. What? Oh. Okay, we can see it.
Okay.
Generation process. This page shows how we have evolved from several types of thinking about forms and concepts to the final thinking process. From the beginning of the single-story flat residential space, the second is to insert some different residential units into it. The third is to slide the plane and then implement the cool cylinder and filter in the concept of air filter. into one set of the building. Okay, next page. Okay, this picture is about the implementation of specific flat suites according to the needs of different people, such as elderly children, pet people, etc. We provide different sets to make their more efficient and pleasant use. Okay. Finally, the video animation we made can better experience and feel the new architecture model brought by our new concept. Okay. Maybe looks a bit stuck. Please just watch it patience. That's the 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. And judges can ask questions. Thank you.
Hello, I have a question related to the context of the building. You seem to position it in a quite natural environment, but then the building doesn't really react to its context. How do you see that?
Sorry, I can't hear clearly.
Okay, I will repeat my question. So,
okay.
I want to know how your building relates to its direct context. It seems that it is positioned in a very natural environment, but then it becomes a capsule that doesn't fully respond to that. How do you see the relationship between the context and the building?
背景建筑。
We think between the buildings and buildings, different people have different needs. We use different points to
I don't hear anything anymore. Is that just me? I have no further questions.
张立涛，你来。
你就继续回答完这个，
Okay. Hello. If you can't answer the question, you just say, yeah, you have no idea about the question.
Sorry, I don't have idea about this question.
Okay, thank you. I have no further question.
Thank you. Mr. Ren have questions for Ren?
Yes, I have a question. The question is, what I think that the elevator is kind of really a fantastic invention, but what I find a little bit. But my question is, why did you stop where you stopped? In other words, I think you still are doing an apartment with elevators, and I think that if you want to kind of rethink that combination, and if you want to rethink the role of elevators in the housing or in office buildings, then I think you could go a lot further. So I'm kind of asking you, why did you stop here?
Okay. Uh, 还是说这个filter 的一个东西，this is the most important link. This link we implement the elevator filter in the concept into the building. After people arrive the floor, they live in form the inside of the elevator. They enter the elevator duct. After the layer by layer screening of the elevator filter, the outside on the other side of the building gradually becomes the safe area. Okay, that's my answer of the question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And you have 2 minutes left. So do you have any materials you want to supplement for your project?
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you much.
Okay.
Bye bye.
I'm your fans of you. Okay.
其实是一起哦。 口碑一起了。Okay, correct. We go next team. The number of team we have now is 172. The project name is Carbon Lab of Circular Economy, Carbon Capture Project. The presenter is Ke-Yu. Here's the rules. The final review goes into two parts. The first one is a 15 minutes presentation, and the second one is a 5 minutes question and answer time. We'll inform you when 3 minutes left and ending time for your presentation. They're going to Q&A. Judges will ask you questions. We'll inform you when 1 minute left and ending time again. Then we finish the final review. Now you can have your presentation and set it to full screen. Thank you.
Is that okay? Okay, nice to meet you, everyone. I'm Ke-Yu from Taiwan. The name of this project is called Carbon Lab of Circular Economy, Carbon Capture Project. Today, I'm here to present my design proposal. The inspiration for this project came from the recent global events of the COVID-19 and global warming. As we all know, the pandemic had caused people to wear masks, distance themselves from one another, and has changed our everyday lives. Along with this, the external environment continued to deteriorate due to global warming, with air quality becoming a major concern for many. The main component of greenhouse gases that pollute the air is carbon dioxide. For example, in Taiwan, the wind and mountains block pollute, causing them to accumulate in the west. The site of this project is located in Pingtung Donggang Town, which has a sedimentary area and is surrounded by seawater and many trees. This results in pollutants being blown in both directions and accumulating in this area. Additionally, the waste from the industrial zone is also blown to this area due to the wind. To combat this, I propose a carbon capture plan with a circular economy. The circular economy reduces waste and uses emerging carbon capture technology to breathe in carbon dioxide by turning black and converting it into carbon commodity. They can be used locally. By utilizing the condition of the base and the application of technology, my goal is to reduce the persecution of carbon dioxide and develop sustainably. One way this will be achieved is by using carbon capture technology to convert carbon to make dry ice and keep agricultural products fresh. Another way is by using waste sediment to make calcium carbonate concrete, which can be used in 3D printed building material. The replicable technology can be applied to other windy coastal areas, not only at Pingtung in Taiwan, but in other places of the world as well.
In terms of space, I have proposed several concepts as experimental space to prevent the accumulation of pollutants. These include unitization, disengagement of units, cutting, and push the ball wall. Next, for design detail. Housing units for two types. The first type is for nuclear family. That's for 2 or 3 people. The second is for studio apartment. That's for 1 person or 2 people. There are deep windows on these units, and they are dispersed into each living area. It is no longer easy to touch each other. What's more, it is convenient for 3D printers to copy. The design also includes a living area with entire stair connecting many disconnect unit space, an outdoor botanical garden, a vertical farm, and a farm market. Outdoor botanical garden is located on the 2nd floor. It uses a gap between the units to make wind pass through and absorb carbon dioxide. This is a place for people together with clean air. Vertical farm is contrasted with outdoor botanical garden, allowing crops to grow better in space that control carbon dioxide concentrations. The farm market is on the 1st floor, where residents can sell fruits and vegetables grown by themselves to near distance. The open entrance and exit can attract the public to enter. In addition, the floor was dark, distinguished farmers market from outside. The carbon capture device has also been designed with care, with the main surface being located near the sea, where the sea and land bridges are most pronounced. The pipeline interconnected by buried water, and the pipeline exchange the necessary substance for each unit. For example, the carbon dioxide that people breathe daily is transported to the farm, and clean air is transported to the household. Finally, I will show you what a carbon capture device looks like. In conclusion, my design proposal aims to experimentally increase the distance of the units and reduce the density of people by combining this with the technology of carbon capture device. We can improve the energy efficiency of buildings, reduce the persecution of air pollution, and enable people who have experienced the pandemic and global warming to live with peace of mind in a secure economy and self-sufficiency. These are all for your presentation. Thank you for your attention. I will be happy to answer any question you might have.
I have a question. I think that it's quite a poetic presentation. And of course, the intentions are admirable. But do you think it's justified for a positive purpose or a good purpose to completely dominate the environment and to completely dominate the living environment of human beings for a single issue?
Sorry, could you repeat the question one more time? Thank you.
Yes. I think the context is poetic and the intentions are good, but I'm wondering if you think it is justified that this single issue of capture and circular economy dominates the environment of your inhabitants to this extent. For everybody, for men, for women, for children, they would live in a single environment where this single issue colors literally and dominates everything.
You say what the children is.
Your proposal dominates the entire environment. So is that justified for a single issue?
Oh, yes. The capture carbon dioxide is compressed under high pressure, converted into a liquid, and transported to the laboratory by pipeline, and laboratory will convert it into carbon commodity, and is cover the children and the life. Because children need to clear air to be grow out health. So I think the capture carbon device can be well to them.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would like to have a question as well. I think your project is quite inspiring and maybe unusual, which makes it interesting to see it as a contrast to what we've done before pandemic and what we do now. However, I was questioning, how do you see the verticality of the project work in reality? Is it then that a healthy society would be higher up and lifted up in the sky and get this circular economy and wind, and that below it there will be a society where people that would not be able to go up or not be part of, are not part of this almost dreamy society would live? Or do you think there are solutions also to make it very inclusive?
It is public, and initially there are farmers affected by the pandemic and global warming. But I hope that the building will develop to more area by using technology and the residential units I had designed. The farmers and the site in Taiwan, the town of Donggang. I think the building is too high to well because the wind need to pass through and the tree in the building can absorb the carbon dioxide. I think is the building project successful in the Pingdong Donggang town. I want it will have more possibility for develop when this building is successful here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. G, you have about 5 minutes left. Do you have any more materials to supplement your project?
Environmental change may lock people in the house, but in fact, the residents for community can also enjoy the convenience by indoor environment, which the control. Vertical farms and farmer markets provide residential space. Even can work to promote the community develop. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now we have a short break about 10 minutes and we will come back until 7:10 p.m. Taiwan time. The Netherlands time is 12:10 a.m. Thank you. 这是下一组是哪个
188
是谁？林家珍。
讲话没关系就讲。
The number of teams we have now is 188. The project name is returned to the brackets. The presenter is Lin Jiazhen. Yeah, here's the rules. The final review goes into two parts. The first one is a 15 minutes presentation, and the second one is a 5 minutes question and answer time. I will inform you when 3 minutes left and the ending time for your presentation. Then going to question and answer. Judges will ask you questions. We'll inform you when 1 minute left and the ending time again. You can have your presentation now and set it to full screen. Thank you.
Hello. 我现在可以开始吗？
可以。
哦，可以。
You can start now.
Okay. Hello. I'm Zhong, from Taiwan. My project is called Return to the Bracket. When the epidemic is serious, people wish to go back to the normal life. In this case, we want people to start traveling overseas after the epidemic is over. In this occasion, some living areas are removed, and different public areas are placed in different order to priority. We offer a form of long-term residential journey, which finally form a new home tour. First of all, let's talk about my site. My site is set in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. Kaohsiung's advantage along every person's goal. From mountain to sea, within 1 hour. With a recent development of Kaohsiung, the number of tourists in Kaohsiung is increasing every year. The site is located in the center of Kaohsiung, fencing of the Kaohsiung port. I bring the light rail stop into the site so that the ground level can be connected to public transportations. Also, the passengers can get off and move to the lobby in the seat without going through the road. International passengers come here fast and more conveniently through the transfer of the light rail. And let's talk about the concept. One, I imagine starting for the prototype of collective housing. Two, take away some of first law, living space, open the ground floor. Three, place in different public space. The four, original walkway to connect the whole public and living space. Five, finally, some social space in the residential area. The whole architecture connect each space with an continuous slope with the original walkway going all the way from the other edge of the site to the roof. We don't know how big the wall is, which the original appearance of the whole wall through the no space. The mean of collective housing is a kind of extension of the stack of the landscape. Next, talk about distributions of residential and public space. The whole residential unit is concentrated in the directions of the urban, forming a kind of cluster. Sorry. In the other direction of sea or the sea, public space are placed so that the residents will be able to choose every different space on each floor, and will be encouraged to use the public space on different floors, along the possibility of ventilations in the middle floor. Next, talk about living unit design. The idea is offer single, 1 and 2 bedrooms, with each of them created a diversity of facade through many combination. This house with a balcony let people go to the balcony. Let's talk about life. Post-epidemic, the whole world fell into an predicament. It begins with registration freedoms to everyone's feel of socialize, which continued to affect humans all over the world. As time flies, people start to understand life again. We begin to realize how important life is for people to get along. Human beings set up zones where animals are placed for recreation purpose. Many live from birth to die in the zoo, where they are fed, housing, moved, and entertained. On the contrary, people are not restricted in their freedoms behind those fences. Let's talk about the public space on the first growth floor. One is a restaurant rep share. Through the supply chain of rooftop farm, which feeds the shared restaurant below. Residents who live here can cook and eat in there by collecting food, which also always took food issues to be solved in their area without consuming more resource. The two is a co-working office rep contribute. Inside the architectures, there are state work areas. the red space rep enjoy. In this open space, a platform with a temporary theater. It provides for the resident to meet during their leisure time or when they are performance. The secure runway rep helps. The higher up the floor, the space become more limited available for sport. The secure runway is set up the middle as a space for sports. For the middles and high floor resident, which is also porch space facing the road as an image of the entrance. The church rep fat. Fat is a very important thing for some people. Library rep knowledge can notice. I put the stack functions on middle floor. This ensures that everyone can use. The roof is an open space, which is sloped to slowly guide people there. It can as alternative square for resident of the higher floors, so allow them to exercise as well. At the same time, a rooftop farm is also set up on the roof to provide food for residents to collect. These ideas come from the fact that if the epidemic time, people like animals in the zoo confined to their home. But
3 minutes left.
Okay. But what makes humans special? From the fact that learn to share knowledge and healthy, enjoy health, nature, and respect. Finally, a word about equality. Here, one I was thinking about in graduate school. COVID-19 is the most dramatic epidemic. Regardless of country or ethnicity, like the flow, the map affects all the places in the world. Inclusions mean of collective housing is a kind of thinking of extensions of the land. We all need to rely on this ground. So human beings never leave the ground, no matter what kind of person we are. Our feet must always be on the ground. And the ground symbolizes the value of equality. Thank you, everyone. I hope everyone will become a human being. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, and judges can ask questions. Thank you.
I would like to ask a question. Is this supposed to be a unique building, a single building, or is it supposed to be a prototype that should be repeated?
I may not be able to answer right now, but I will try to think about your question.
Well, what I mean is, it is maybe interesting to create a building where everything is available to all the inhabitants. But if you make this a kind of prototype and basically everything would be available to everyone who is living in an apartment building, obviously the world would become kind of very boring, because there would not be a kind of reason to ever move away from your apartment building. And not only that, but also there would be an endless repetition of churches, of libraries, of everything, all the facilities you're introducing in this building. So that is why I'm asking, is this a kind of unique building, or is it supposed to be something that you imagine you can repeat? It's a very simple question.
Oh, unique. Oh, unique.
So your answer, it's a unique building.
Yeah, yes.
I also have a question related to your project. Thank you for your presentation. You emphasize a lot in your presentation all the multifunctionality. The idea was to reinvent the typology of residential. How do you see that the residential itself, the housing part, has developed, and also how it could develop in your concept? Is this, in other words, is this a fixed situation when you build it and it will not change anymore, or will the residential areas develop over time?
Oh, I purposely made my residential place not very comfortable because I want people to be able to leave their home. Then let them go to the public area and interact more with people.
But don't you think the essence of a residential place is also your own private space and safety, and that should be comfortable and related to light and air and that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lin. And you have 2 minutes more. So do you have any materials you want to supplement for your project?
No. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Wait. Thank you. Okay, now we are going to have the last team. The number of team we have now is 2, 4, 3. The project name is Sky Village Incubator. The team members are Duan Aixin, Di Ruijia, and Chen Liying. Here's the rules. The final review goes into 2 parts. The first one is a 15 minutes presentation, and the second one is a 5 minutes question and answer time. You will be informed by me when 3 minutes left and ending time for your presentation. Then going to question and answer. Judges will ask you questions. I will inform you when 1 minute left and the ending time again. Then we are finishing the final review. You can have your presentation now and set it to full screen. Thank you. Yeah, you can share your PowerPoint now.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Today our presentation is divided into 4 parts. We'll talk about the research and how the concept was created, the details of the design, and the final conclusion with the data and pictures. First of all, we are a team from Chongqing, China, studying in the Department of Architecture at Sichuan Fine Arts Institute, and currently in our 4th year of college. At the time of doing this project, Chongqing was facing a serious COVID-19 pandemic and was undergoing the strictest quarantine policy. So in our dorm room, the 3 of us started to think about the future of architecture and housing. In this pandemic, migrant workers, who make up 1/3 of China's workforce, have been a forgotten social class. As China's urbanization accelerates, millions of peasants leave the land to work in cities every year, 300 million peasant workers nationwide in 2021. With percent 27 to 3, or about 80 million, over the age of 50. And although the infrastructure and economy of China's cities are continuing to grow, migrant workers remain on the margins of China's cities. The reason is that in China, 户口 or citizenship is divided into rural and urban. 户口 creates a divide between the urban residents who enjoy privileges and rights. Migrant workers, although migrant workers are indispensable, in reality, they have nowhere to go and cannot claim the same city rights. Because of their rural hukou status, migrant workers' job opportunities and apartments are mobile and temporary. The emergence of the pandemic has created uncertainty in their lives, and blockade policies often leave migrant workers with no other options for employment or accommodation. Even when not homeless, many migrant workers are trapped in overcrowded dormitories or spend the night at factories or construction sites where they work. During COVID-19, these overcrowded and cramped living quarters amplified migrant workers' feelings of uncertainty and anxiety. In addition to the unemployment shutdown and plunged lack of identity, we found that being trapped in a poor living environment has a particularly significant impact on the mental health of migrant workers. We noticed this phenomenon and wanted to try to build a temporary shelter that could be set up quickly to take in these people and help them transition through these unexpected situations. On the other hand, cities are particularly vulnerable to pandemics due to their high population density, as this can lead to disruptions in this food supply chain from suburban growing sites, those struggling food shortages and price increases, which reflects the vulnerability of urban food reserves in crisis. In the event of major accident, it's difficult to have self-sufficiency in the city due to the lack of planting base, and that migrant workers who have lost their jobs have experience in farming in their hometowns. So we combine the 2 problems into a single solution, hoping to insert a planting base into temporary housing that will both house idle migrant workers and provide food for the surrounding community. The building started with just a frame, and then the modular building system kept building. And we liken this process of building a home to incubation, as if it were growing and incubating from the bottom up. The process is, in our opinion, not only the occupation of a house, but the incubation of a decent and healthy life for the migrant workers who are living in a precarious place. The incubator is an attempt to integrate the life of agriculture production into the city, offering the possibility of implementing food production in an urban environment, providing fresh food to the urban population without having to undergo a long-distance transportation. So we identified incubation sites through the gathering points of farmers in Chongqing Yuzhong District, 雷家坡18梯 白象居朝天门. It is said these sites have both large-scale plots of land allocated for public use by the development authorities, and the vacancies are preserved as green fields and brown fields, very suitable for cultivation. We've envisioned a sketch of one of the incubators in the Chaotianmen wholesale market. The incubation building process can be divided into 4 parts. Step 1, identify the incubation site and build the framework. Step 2, allocation of planting sites and public spaces. Step 3, implementation of residential CLC model space. Step 4, keep adding new models until it hatches into a complete building. This is an incubating sky village undergoing agricultural cultivation.
The incubator community is constructed from simple 2-story modular elements of the block, stacked around a vertical ecological circulation system. On the basis of this framework, residential, planting, and support spaces are implanted, and numerous staircases will be circling up through the streets to connect the different levels. The result will be an urban agricultural residential complex.
The prototype of the building is inspired by the Southwest Village House, and we extracted the elements of the double-sloped roof of the Southwest Village House as the design elements. The main unit of the building foundation is composed of square blocks and double-sloped roofs. There are 3 main scales of housing: 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom, and buildings of larger volume scale are generated through various combinations of 1-bedroom monoliths. The 3-bedroom incorporated a planning module increase the sustainability of living. The functions of the monoliths are residential module, planting module, and public building module. The residential module mainly serves people's living, and the small-scale planting seats can also be integrated into it. The public module provides people's needs for shopping, medical care, study, and communication. The planting module meets the needs of the residents for self-sufficiency and is the most important function of the incubator. The above are the uses we envision, but residents are free to give them life and meaning according to their own preferences and experience.
Each floor of the incubator residence consists of residential, planting, and transportation functions, each with its own spatial prototype. Here we focus on how the planting module works. We placed the growing modules in different places, some in the courtyard of the residential body and some on the roof of the public building, but most of them have their own separate space. When growing vegetables indoors, we use artificial light and control the temperature and humidity to maximize plant growth. We want to use building integrated agriculture, BIA, in the planting panels of the building mass to support the operation of incubation community and to take full advantage of recycling of resources, such as rainwater within the system, to create a new urban metabolic food production system. Carbon capture and storage systems are also used as the building's energy supply and are integrated with other systems to achieve a self-sustaining building ecology. And here's the migrant workers are cultivating in the indoor planting base.
Mobile migrant workers who are homeless under the epidemic can identify nearby incubation sites through their own or staff's mobile apps and determine the moderate single-family nights based on the number of occupants. Then choose a location, live within the incubation village, and assign a planting site near the settlement. As the number of incubates increases, the scale of the incubation village becomes larger and larger until it's incubated into a complete building, an integrated urban agriculture settlement. The incubator project was born out of the neglect of migrant workers groups in China's urban hukou system, and the emergence of the epidemic has highlighted such problems. In the absence of an active government solution for the time being, we're trying to reintroduce agricultural life into the city and solve the social problems between urban residents and migrant workers from the bottom up, through the combination of architecture models and ecological technologies, so that urban and rural areas can promote each other and redefine people's lives in the future. Thank you for attention.
Thank you. And now judges can ask questions. Thank you.
I was very happy to see a kind of project that is dealing not with recent issues such as COVID only, but also with long-term issues such as the issue of the guest workers. So I don't have a lot of questions, but I'm more complimenting you with your choice.
For me, counts the same. It's good that it is not only about before pandemic and after, but that it addresses more social issues. I have one question. You suggest different groups of people to come together and to create a lifestyle in a city, in a kind of a micro environment. Do you think that the mixing of different lifestyles can actually work, or because now very often things are segregated? And do you think the different lifestyles can benefit from each other in one way or another? And then how does your architecture respond to that potential benefit?
Let me answer the question. I absolutely agree on the lifestyle. Everybody lives together. I was once told that this project is not only for migrant workers who want to live in it, but even many young people who are facing housing problems also want to live in it. But I would like to say that this project is about agriculture. So many young people who live in the city, like me, can't even identify the types of vegetables in China. Migrant work can't even identify the types of vegetables. And in China, migrant workers means laborers who are from the country yard. So far, our project will target migrant workers who have experience in farming first. But I think there are many similar groups in other parts of the world who are facing the same urban problems under the epidemic. And I have seen many psychological problems caused by the housing environment of migrant workers in Singapore. So in my work, in my research, so we hope that we can explore more possibilities for a familiar region to find commonalities in the design of solutions. And I would like to add one thing, because our project, that's why we have a part of research on migrant workers and urban food shortages, because in my opinion, the epidemic is just a vehicle to amplify the problems that we have been there before and after the pandemic. So we think urban agriculture can still be a solution to the problem after the pandemic, and even its self-sufficient attributes will be sufficient for the next crisis, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
no further questions. Good presentation, thank you. All three of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and team 243. Actually, you have 3.5 minutes. So, do you want to give more material for your project?
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
我现在讲这一段。Okay. Right now, the final review of the 2023 International Residential Architectural Conceptual Design Competition is finished. The list of awards will be announced in the following few days. The online and physical ceremony of awards will be hosted on March 19, 2 p.m. Taiwan Standard Time, and we welcome all of you to attend this awards ceremony. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
我想跟他们讲吗？ Okay.
Thank you.